Okay guys, Stavros here, RPM Auto Reviews. I'm going to install the air scoops for my Kia Stinger that I got. You do need to get the car up a little bit on some kind of a ramp like that so you can get underneath and get the clips out for both sides. They look like this. So you got to pull those out carefully with a screwdriver. If you actually have one of these type of screwdrivers, and of course you can use one of these because that's what it's designed for, to help you get into that, right? And also know when you're trying to get the push tabs out, try to get the little hook part in between this part, because you can see both when it's in there, but you can't go from behind both of them. It seems that you got to get the screwdriver in between them, and as you pull, it helps with the separation and it forces the back one to close the lips or the flares on the inside, so that way it can come out. Okay, so after removing the 3 push tabs from both sides, total 6, and 1 screw each side, total 2 screws so far, you got to remove these, and I'm told you just got to kind of pop it up towards the hood. Hopefully I'm not going to break this. So you can see it's got the 2 clips here. It's got a little clip there. I'll see if I can push that to help me out. Okay, so it seems this thing just pushes in there, so you just got to slowly pull out. You just got to slowly weasel it up, and it just comes out of that tight spot. Next is to remove this bolt here on both sides. These 5 like that, so boy. Now we're gonna have to just pull this out a little bit. You just gotta pull that very softly and carefully, right? Just so it just kind of pops out of place. And then we got to pull this back. And apparently this just pulls up. So I don't know why it didn't ask me to. Okay, so these ones aren't push tabs, that's why they're just something else that kind of clip into something, so you got to pull that up carefully. Okay, and there's also, I forgot to tell you, there's also like 6 or 8 screws, push tabs underneath to go along there. I'll take a picture and show you that. And then after all those are done, we just together with my stepson, we just kind of carefully lifted all this up and over the hood latch. So just kind of up and out. We didn't have another person hold the camera first, so I didn't get that on camera, but just get it carefully. Once you get everything up, just got to carefully lift it up, kind of all the little sections up a little bit, and then kind of out. Okay, so I got the one off. To take off the box, you need to have some tools. Obviously you need a long one and a short one, because the ones you got to take off are here. You got to take off this one, you got to take off this one right here, and you got to take off this one underneath here. And these things fall down on you, so you got to be careful. So you need the long one to be able to get in there and to kind of work with it, right? So you do those 3, and then this thing this just pops out, right? You see, believe it or not, this is the only intake. Like, this is where the air goes into here and then right into your box. I don't think there's any other way air gets into this air box. So I have to take a nose out. So okay, I was saying this just weasels out like that. And again, keep the rubber. And when you take it out like this one, keep it, because we're going to take off the rubber piece here. It's going to go onto the new air scoop because it utilizes the same rubber seal there. So this has to come off too now, and I believe there's a screw here and then one on the other side in there, and this one that's just above my finger on both sides, and that should bring, this is not attached to this, it's just the upper part, it's loose here. And then there's a harness in here that you're going to have to that you may have to unclip. We'll see when we take off this if we need to or not. Okay. So for this part, there's actually 6. The 2 up here, the 2 down here, and right in there on both sides. And there's like 5, 6 of these clips going into this plastic thing that's kind of hard to reach. So I would use this to pull them out, but it was really hard. If you have some kind of a longer snip, to just kind of snip off the tie that's holding it in place. It's probably easier. So just note, another option is to put this piece back, but it doesn't seem to really be holding anything except for this directing the air in. Now to make the air scoop fit, you would just need to notch out maybe from about here over. You can just cut this whole thing out so it just stops here and just open on this side, right? So the scoop comes out around this spot. So if you want to just cut this off and put this back, you could do that as well. So these are the air scoops. This goes this way because the hole lines up where the other one had a hole. So they go right there like that. But I got to put on the that rubber thing is going to come off and go on onto this one, so then it can just go back onto there. So that one had 3 holes holding it, 3 screws. This one looks like it's only got 2, the one down here and this one to line up there. So just got to put those on. I got a tripod, guys, but I didn't bring it, so just take the sub rubber off very carefully. Stick it up very carefully so you don't rip it, and then you're going to just put it back on through the grooves in there. So I got the rubber piece back on the lip of this one, so be careful you get it on correctly. It's just a thinner outer part that's got to slip over this. Then you just slip it over the original box connector, and then put the 2 bolts that we took out, put the same bolts back in there. They should be the right size to get that back in there. Then do the same for the other side. Okay, so they're on. So make sure when you're putting on the 2 that you get this one. I say you get this one in about 75% of the way in, and then line up the bottom one and get the nut in there. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so you got to be careful to get it in. Now these are the JA scoops I get from KDM Warehouse, right? They're not the I forget the name of the other brand that starts with an L. I'm not sure if those are longer and they come out to here or not, but as you can see, this one's only come out a little over. I think in the they look like they come, the other videos I see, they look like they come a little bit closer to the center than some of the other ones, but anyway. So those are up. Just line them up and get them in. And there's only 2, so the ones that were here before I put back, so that way this one and this one, I just put it back so that way I'm not going to lose it. If I have to put that cover back in the future, the screws or bolts are still there. I'm going to do the same for everything else, put the bolts back where they belong, just to keep them in place, like this one too. So now this is going to hang because that plastic piece that we took out does not go back in here. So these really should be helping get a lot of air straight through into the box now and through the filter and into the turbo. So considering that the system before was so bad, this is like a huge difference. So I'm hoping this actually makes it jump like 20 horsepower just from this, together with the better K9 filters. Now I don't know what this without these filters is. I didn't dyno before these filters went in, but they really didn't do that much. I'm only going to guess at best 5, 6, 7 horsepower because of the restriction. Okay, so I twist tied these. Just there's a little groove right here, so I put a twist tie right there. That way I don't have to go around this whole thing. I don't have long enough. I'll have to use 2 twist ties to go around there. And over here, just connected it to this spot here to hold this part. Go a little tighter. And the last one, there's a couple of holes. It's a hole right there. So I took advantage of a hole right here that goes right through. Again, not having to try to go around. We're twist tying that one in. So that'll hold all those. That'll hold this in place pretty snug, I think. Not going anywhere. Just as loose or as tight as they were before. And I'll get the bumper back on. Okay, so I gotta get the put any screws back that I don't need back where they belong, just again not to be lost. And I'm gonna get the bumper back on. I'm gonna have to ask my neighbor. My stepson went out. Okay, so the bumper's back on. I got dizzy lying underneath there trying to get all the clips in, but it's all on. I think it's okay. I'm gonna go for a drive now and see if the bumper falls off. All right, I hope my instructional video was not too complicated. It was my first time doing it, but if it helps you, it's not as hard as it looks, so just take your time. Look at my video, look at other videos, and just replay the same thing over again if you have to. It'll take you a few hours. Just rewatch the video a few times, mine and others, and just make sure you take your time and do it right. You can do it. Okay, the air scoops are in. You can see the little red outlines. All right, I'll go for a little drive and see if I can feel any difference or if there's a little bit of a different end sound. If I can hear a different sound with more air going through. Usually intakes create a little bit better sound, so maybe this better airflow might as well. I think it sounds a little better too, even though it's not an exhaust, it's the intake. Again, it might just be my placebo thing. It's in my head, I don't know.